Good morning, this is Amanda and I'm going to be going over Module 2 from the Distance Learning Playbook. This is all about the first days of school, which I realize we're a little bit past. Kind of crazy that we're using this book now instead of Harry Long's First Days of School, although they're basically the same. So one of the first pieces of advice in this module is to be proactive instead of reactive. So make sure that you're thinking about all of your classroom management things, like your procedures, routines, and expectations, and trying to think them out beforehand instead of while you're going. Next, they recommended starting with a statement of your teaching and learning philosophy. So an example from the book is from Mrs. DeWall, and she wrote, "I value an environment that allows people to take risks and make mistakes. We are learning new things and we are here to help each other." So just a few sentences and share with your families and students, and if you can share in the family's home language, even better. Next, they recommend creating peer-to-peer norms. Some examples from the book are to be open to spend the time it takes to learn, to understand that learning is a process that requires patience with self and others, to create a safe space. They also recommended that you co-construct agreements. So they're called agreements and not rules, and to state them positively. So maybe instead of saying no interrupting, you can say, "We will wait for our classmates to be finished before we speak." To post your agreements and to make sure that you're teaching and rehearsing them often. Next, the book suggested that you develop and teach organizational and procedural routines. So that might be teaching them the weekly schedule, sending that out to families, going over how they'll access their homework, how will they turn in their homework. I know Mr. Dunstan had talked about teaching his kids how to take a picture of their work. That includes the work and not a selfie with a little picture of their work. So that falls under that category. And making sure that you're designing a considerate website. The book mentioned that universal design actually applies to virtual learning as well. So make sure that your font is easy to read. Maybe create a landing page that has your contact information, a student page where students can go to find their work and assignments, and a family page where they can find links to the school's website and other information. I know Jeff UTech also recommended having a frequently asked questions page, and this book also recommended that. So you can just post questions that you're hearing a lot of and your answer, and direct parents there instead of answering the same thing 30 different times. And last, and this is an important one, is to take the time to learn your students' interests. So they recommended doing activities, which I know all of you are doing anyway. So for younger kids, you could find someone who loves the color pink, put them in breakout rooms and have them discuss their favorite color. They're recommended for older kids. You can have them do a silent interview where you pair them up. They come up with interview questions for each other and then introduce their partner to the class. And that way, if you learn your students' interests, you can kind of build some relevancy into your lessons. The next module is all about teacher-student relationships from a distance. So I know McClintock was huge on building relationships when the school opened, and this will just be a little bit different because we're from a distance now.